All right, hello, Honors 100 students. So when we last met up in the library, we met on a note that we were probably going to be transitioning to online instruction, and obviously the entirety of UNLV has now done that, as well as just about every other college and university that I'm aware of. So we're moving ahead in this format. At this point, I'm anticipating that's where we're going to be for the rest of the semester. I hope that we will be able to meet up again in person. We're going to take our cues from the authorities and the experts on these sorts of issues. If UNLV, from a policy perspective, resumes in-person instruction, and if it seems like a responsible thing to do from a public health perspective, I would like to do that. That's kind of my objective. If we do get there, I have had a couple students reach out with concerns because they live on campus or we're staying with someone. They're now going to be moving farther away, and so it's going to become problematic to return if we were to return to in-person instruction. Rest assured, I'm going to work with folks on an individual basis as needed in those kinds of situations. So if we do return to in-person instruction, I hope most students will be able to return with us. But if you're not reasonably able to, just let me know your situation, and I will allow students to basically finish out the semester online, even if we are resuming in-person instruction. So with all of that, I'm going to encourage you, please keep up on the assigned readings and reading response journals for this class. One of the nice things about this class is those aspects of the course really shouldn't need to change. So there are further assigned readings that are PDFs uploaded to Canvas, and there are some from the textbook. So just keep up with them as they're assigned, and please keep up on your reading response journals. Keep uploading those, and that's pretty much going to be the same as it always was for this class. My intention is to record a short video lecture for each of the assigned readings that we would have had, or to facilitate other kinds of instruction for those days we didn't have assigned readings. Basically, my plan is to try to keep these videos to, I would say on the long end, 15 minutes. I'm going to aim closer to 10 minutes for the most part. Some of that's out of respect for folks who are using streaming data to access these videos, and some of that's just, I know it's hard to just watch someone talk at you for 10 minutes or more. So I'm going to try to keep that time down to keep that reasonable for you, in hopes that you all will continue watching all the videos responsibly. So with that, we're going to have a discussion thread associated with each of these videos, where I'm going to ask everyone to participate at least once, giving some sort of substantive comment in response to the video and questions that I raised there, or to each other, especially if you join in a little bit later on. It might be that people have already pretty much answered the questions I've posed, but you can still certainly respond to points that each other have brought up, as if it were a more live discussion. So I'm going to ask everyone to respond at least once, and that's basically going to count as your attendance for that day in place of actually being somewhere in person. In some ways, I think that's easier. You don't actually have to get out of your pajamas even. You can just go to your phone or your laptop or tablet or whatever device you're using and respond to a comment thread and basically get credit for having been there. And in some ways, I hope that might actually, invite kind of more people into discussion and kind of provide a more vibrant discussion and back and forth through these written comments. I realize it can be more effort to respond in a written form for some folks, so I appreciate the extra effort going in those cases. But I'm hopeful this will be a comparable experience to what we would have had in person in those ways. So with that, I'm going to ask everyone to respond again at least once. I expect there's going to be some degree of trial and error associated with this. So this is my first time teaching this particular class online, let alone a class where we started the semester in person and then transitioned online. We'll see what's working and what's not working. We'll kind of change and adjust, as we need to. I really appreciate your honest feedback on those things, right? If I hear from just one person that they aren't loving it, granted, I'll reveal my personal bias. I don't think this is going to be quite as enjoyable or quite as engaging as it would be with an in-person discussion, but I'm hopeful that ultimately it'll be a comparable learning experience, right? So, if I hear just one or two questions, complaints, so on and so forth, I'll do my best to respond to those. But if I do hear kind of a quorum of people saying that something just isn't really working for them, we'll make bigger adjustments, and I'm definitely open to that sort of feedback. So I am going to ask you to please respond to this video. I don't need a very meaty response in this case, but if you could just respond and confirm you were able to watch this video and able to hear what I was saying, and this all more or less makes sense to you, I would appreciate that. Similarly, if you're watching, listening to this, and you're thinking to yourself, this is not going to work for me, right? Because I just don't have access to technology or resources to participate in a class like this, or I have just big questions, this doesn't really make sense to me. Please let me know if any of that is the case for you. And so with that, if it's, again, individuals who have issues, I'm prepared to work with people on an individual basis to try to make this work for folks under these unusual circumstances. Or if I hear the same issues from a lot of people, either because I just made a big miscalculation or missed something, or because just, kind of logistically something becomes really challenging, definitely willing to adapt. And, I'm not wedded to, a lot of the plans that we have laid out here. But my expectation is, in general, we'll maintain the schedule. So again, we'll have the same readings schedule, the same reading response journal schedule, and then also the same schedule for the major assignments for the class. So that includes the annotated bibliography, which is coming up on March 31st. That also includes your larger essay, the research argument essay, which I'll talk more about in one of these upcoming virtual lectures, and also just kind of make sure that I have an opportunity to respond to questions about as well. But okay, so with all of that said, you can expect my next update for you to be coming probably on or around Tuesday of next week, when we would ordinarily meet for class. If anything big changes between now and then, either on a more global scale or just in terms of this class, I might post something sooner to update you on what's going on. If I have technological difficulties or other challenges come up, obviously we might push back a little bit, but my plan is to have things posted by Tuesday so we can kind of pick up on class from there in as close to a normal fashion as we can and resume where we left off with the in-person class. But okay, thanks so much for watching and listening. I hope you're enjoying your spring break to the extent that you can under the current circumstances, and I'll be in touch. Sorry, thanks again.